Let's review some background music. Minecraft Volume Alpha, the album of Gen Z. The reason I say that is because Gen Z has a lot of diverse taste, while I think the king genre right now has to be the pop rap, the Lil Uzis, the Travis Scotts. You also got the classic rock guys, the guys into jazz, the prog elitist Wojaks. Everybody can get behind this one. I'm not even a big game guy, and I can get behind this soundtrack.
If it wasn't for this soundtrack, the game's quality would definitely be decreased by a pretty good amount. C418 just gives it the wings so it can fly to new heights.
We can't do the track by track review because there's 24 on here, but we will cover as much ground as possible, and we're rating all your favorites. Without further, Bovine Excrement, Key. The album fittingly starts off with ambience on the reverb-heavy Key. You can tell C418 was going for more than just a soundtrack as he blends the transition to Door seamlessly. Door serves as kind of an overture to the album, playing the main Minecraft melody with a whole symphony, synthesizer, and piano. Seamless transition takes us right into the first big song with Subwoofer Lullaby. The soft playing and plucking of the strings creates a mysterious and simultaneously upbeat backdrop for the soft synth lead.
This song is the ultimate relaxing piece. This is a song that I think he tailored towards when you listen to it. It's kind of like a relaxing when you sit back and see what you've done in the game, or maybe just take a break. Patches that he used brings the whole thing together.
Lullaby is the perfect name for a song like this, given the soft, dreamy feel. I have no idea where the fuck Subwoofer came from though. I was expecting some, like plenty longer E-rape style bass. Lullaby works. I give it an 8.
An 8.5.
Creatively works in many of the in-game sound effects, ones which C418 actually came up with himself. Living Mice is another in-game staple. The chimey, pulsating melody sounds excellent on top of the bass notes.
C418 is a master in terms of capturing the mood of what it is to play Minecraft, especially the ending of the song where it roars up and takes hold of you, and then just kind of winds down and leads you into the next piece.
An 8.
8.5.
It's unfortunate that 99.98% of our generation has no idea what the fuck Moog is, or that some assholes pronounce it Moog. Moog is a synthesizer that came out in the late 70s and was used throughout many classic rock songs, especially during the 80s, like Geddy Lee of Yes is a prominent user, along with, did I say Geddy Lee of Yes? Geddy Lee of Rush and Rick Wakeman of Yes. Drake's producer 40 uses a lot of the Moog bass in a lot of their beats. This is one that instantly makes you think of the main menu.
It gives the listener the feel of a retro futuristic sense of purpose when you're about to launch the game.
C418 goes crazy with the arpeggios that fade in and gives it one of the more energetic tones. Even the faint bells show just how much detail C418 put into this album. I give this one an 8.
A strong 8.
C418 takes us immediately from the most intense track on the record to some baby music. The song is a perfect representation of the album. Not a lot to talk about in terms of complexity and arrangement, but the composition itself is so perfect. It's one you can't ever forget. The complexity in the song lies within the atmosphere that it creates, with the shifting reverb levels and the additional soft instruments that fade in and out. Another staple on the record, I give it a 7.
8.
C418 thinks outside the box again, with tone opting for a warmer, more muffled piano tone, bringing the string accompaniment to the front.
The single greatest feeling you get in terms of nostalgia, or even just your first time playing the game.
Probably the first track people think of when they play Minecraft, other than maybe Sweden. It's repetitive as hell, but it kicks so much ass, and it could be playing on loop for hours on end, you wouldn't even notice. Which sometimes it is during the game. 7.5.
Personal favorite, the iconicness of it is undisputable. I give it a 10.
Oh shit. 10. Kind of like the least energetic build up into a 10 I've ever seen, but that works. Oxygene and Equinoxe are more tracks that especially are going to stir up nostalgia down the road, given the soft, moody nature. Mice on Venus continues that same theme with a much more somber and even softer tone. Wet Hands. It's a short one, but what sounds so simple is actually pretty difficult to play, especially with the bass notes on the left hand, for you piano people out there. The bass notes build the foundation, but the melody line gives it soul, allowing it to stick in your head forever.
Near the end of the soundtrack, it's really amazing to see him pull out his classical feel rather than the electronic, futuristic synthy.
Synthy.
Oh, my brain
malfunction.
Done.
Right. The composition evokes so much raw emotion on its own, and the nostalgia just adds to it. Beautiful song, able to leave a lasting impression on me in just 1 minute in 30
That's
seconds.
what she said.
I'm feeling a 10.
Oh. C418's unique chords that he pulls out for this song in particular are unmatched. I give it a 9.
Clark is another familiar one with waves of strings layering over the piano and guitar. Chris is a beautiful transition piece crossfading the classic instrument tone of Clark with the modern synth seamlessly. Excuse is one of the more zen tracks on the album as well. It's one of those tracks you could just sit back and reflect to, given its soft, spacey tone.
Not really standoutish for me, but they do a great job of pulling the whole soundtrack together. What we all came here for.
Uh-oh. Banger alert. Banger alert, class. Okay. The best way to describe the song is just beautiful.
On the prairie,
Right.
sun shining, flowers,
Yes, sir.
naked women.
This is one of the songs that inspired me not only to play piano, but to play music in general. The song transcends just the game and has kind of become the soundtrack to so many people's childhoods, including my own.
It's another piece on here, just like Wet Hands, that makes you forget that you're playing Minecraft. C418 had a competition he had to go to, and this is his recital piece.
Even the way the song is written is awesome to learn for an intermediate player, as each chord builds on itself and then eventually adds in multiple chords with each hand, playing the melody and chords at the same time. The strings give it so much more of a cinematic and emotional feel. The plucking interlude to go back to the piano outro, that's not bad. Easiest 10 I've ever given in my life. I'm gonna wait for the anime wow to fade out. Go ahead.
Would think it'd be a crime, and I'd be locked up for crimes against humanity if I didn't agree. 10.
Alright. Cat goes back heavily in that modern synth direction, keeping the album nice and fresh. Again, with the attention to detail, all the muffled plucks do so much to elevate the main 8-bit melody, giving it a perfect blend between old school 8-bit blocky feel and a more modern one, just like the game itself. And Dog is literally the same fucking song. Why is it even separated? Even though beginning ironically sounds like the album closer, both of the Droopies take us out. Droopy like Ricochet begins like how most of my keyboard practices go. The album concludes with some Vsauce music. This is the most 2011 album I've ever listened to in my life. Overall, C418 is able to capture the sound of an entire generation.
C418 and Notch are Minecraft. If he took his whole keyboard and just dumped everything onto this, nobody could have ever captured the sounds for this game like he did.
On top of that, it spawned countless memes and inspired at least myself to play instruments, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. The arrangements, the transitions, what it means for the culture. I give this one a 9.
9 as well.